All right. We get started, we'll leave at least for some time. It'll just be us four. So Councilman Sid gets here, and I'm not sure if Councilman Brown's on. The minutes ready? Somebody want to carry the resolution for October breast cancer awareness month?
I can carry that.
All right. We have acknowledgements. Is there anything else? Bring it forward. Pretty self-explanatory.
You know, one thing, just real quick, the Oberts, our junior ROTC over high school won state over the weekend, so that we'll be seeing that soon. So they won their Ranger challenge.
Good. We're judging. Okay. John, you wanna, you gotta get back to court.
Thank you. I think I'm number 10 on your agenda. We received some grant funds from All Rise Justice for Veterans to, because we're nationally mentoring other veterans treatment courts. We had the veterans treatment court from Bloomington, Normal, Illinois in yesterday. There's $1,000 of grant money that can only be spent in certain ways. So we need to create a couple line items in that grant fund so we can spend not the county's money on things that we need. And so we asked for, I guess it's number 11, I apologize. So we need to make a couple line items in that fund. And then in our other fund, it's also a grant fund from the state of Indiana. We're just asking to have the additional funds that were left over from last year appropriated for this year so we can spend the grant fund money as opposed to the county money. I also want to give each of the county council and the Veterans Treatment Court Challenge Coin. Thanking you for continually supporting the Veterans Treatment Court and its efforts to help the veterans of our county. I have brought one for you, Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Should I just give Tori the one for the council persons that aren't here?
Or your Carol, either one.
Okay, very good.
Is there any questions in regards to Doug Cantrell's request? All right.
Do we need to be at the meeting on Tuesday?
I don't see the necessity of it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I know that you're court administration.
She'll be here if you need her. All right, thank you.
All right, drainage board. Great.
Morning. We are asking for an appropriation for drainage improvement fund, 25,000 for the Little Cow River Engineering, and $2,665.46 for the Little Cow River construction. We have 3 projects that are current. 2 are under contract. One is going to come in for bid. They're in Cherville, Dyer, and Munster, Spoon Ditch, Cherville Ditch, and the Dyer Ditch. So these projects we've been having them put on the back burner for several years. So talking with Mr. Blanchard, he advised Surveyor Emerson that there is this fund that had our money in there. So we were asking for some of that money to utilize for these projects.
How much is in that fund, we know?
A little over 7 million? A little over 7 million.
Larry, is that a tax rate fund? Is that a levy fund? Okay. And it's restricted uses? Is that what it is? Is a restricted use fund?
Drainage.
All right, thank you. Sure. Other questions? We're good.
Anybody else have a question? Good.
Tuesday.
Thank you.
I'll do that. And the content assessor.
Good morning.
Morning.
We're just asking for a transfer within our budget. We have some additional funds from our office and administrators. We had a couple of employees that got certifications, so we need to be able to pay them for those certifications. We need additional office supplies. Other professional services, we're anticipating, the snow contract, so we don't have any money for that. And, lodging, we have people that are going out to take additional, certifications to get their levels. So we would need that money for lodging and the money for mileage to, pay for those, services. So it's money within our budget that we have, and we just asking to transfer it.
Mr. Chairman, and
Councilman Dost.
asking for support on item A. I think the adjustments were made in the 26 budget, so not having a shortfall if possible.
Very well.
That was going to be my question is with the newly certified employees, is that incorporated into the 2026 budget?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we need to be here?
If there's an issue, I can come.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Criminal courts. There she is. It's simple, right, Ida?
Morning.
We're asking for reduction in probation officer salaries. We have two probation officers that resign and we're making less than those. That is a difference of $7,380.
Mr. Chairman, somebody had just sent us the probation salaries for 25, and it says that the lowest salary is a little over 42,000 right now. So the 37 kind of jumped out at me when I was looking at the agenda because it seemed low. Could you just check that, and if you have to do a revised 140?
No, that's correct, but 5,000 would come from the probation use.
Oh, okay, so there's,
So it's a supplement.
got it, all right. Then.
So
We're all over it.
31, 37, 311.
All right, thanks.
And I won't need you for reduction. You know. You have a good day.
Okay, you all have a blessed day.
2.
All right, Superior Court. 401. Is that Judge Morgan?
One is Judge Shirelli.
Oh, Judge Sherrod, oh, sorry. You're,
Good morning, Marilyn Princess on behalf of Judge Shirelli. We as well also submitted a revised 144 for reduction for a probation officer. Present amount of 58,473 to a proposed amount of 42,311 with a difference of 16,160.
any questions? I'm good with this. Thanks.
Thank you.
David's skipping around. He's in control. I know, I'm new guys.
Oh, okay. Number 9, I spoke to Judge Saffa this morning. I talked to her past week, but this morning was busy. I told her it wasn't necessary to be here, but it's a reduction in probation officer. It's the same story that we just. Very good. And. That's it.
Item 10.
Okay,
Did you do 9?
yes.
What you do?
Or the administrator tried to
Oh,
That was criminal courts.
court administrator. Assuming that's Marty, right? Marty. And I don't see Marty here, but it's a transfer. It's a transfer from jury fee fund to per diem. Another professional services totaling $3,000. Up and down.
Now we're going to go juvenile court.
Very well. Juvenile court, CASA. Grant application. Anybody here from CASA or grant approval? Hey, I'd like to hear from them. Moving on. Planning Commission funds. And Councilman Lundy.
Both items are residential zone changes for one lot subdivisions. First one's a 7.35 acre lot on ordinance number 2591. 2592 is a one lot 5 acre request for rezoning to residential so they can apply for subdivision approval. These come to you with unanimous recommendations for approval from the funds. Unless there's any questions, that's all.
Nothing to add on my part.
County highways.
Morning. The traffic study was done on the stop signs for Burr Street, 113th North and South. After engineering studies, we requesting to deny. And also we have a resolution, we have a bill popped up in September for an invoice for paying Stone. We'd like to pay it out of this year's budget.
No objections.
On all the other ones.
Oh, that we're not putting in stop signs? Right.
So there's no action on that, is that the procedure?
Ray, would that be a no action
Or do you vote no on?
no on the motion to deny?
I would do a motion to deny.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Good.
Thank you.
Eric. Tom Ellis. Eric.
I'm asking to create new line items and appropriations for the sheriff's comprehensive highway injury reduction program grant funds. And also create new line item and appropriations for the sheriff's safe Narcan essential spread bag grant.
Council Lady Sid is the chair. Councilman Niemeyer here on the committee.
Yeah, no objections.
Right. That.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Prosecutor, thank you.
We are requesting a inter-fund transfer into our 9335 fund. This is just to correct a negative balance in the fund. It'll zero it out and then we will close that fund out after the transfer is completed.
And what are these different funds that they?
The 4141 is our forfeiture RICO fund. And then it will be transferred into our SOP grant fund, which we no longer have.
There's no limitations on how those funds could have been used in the RICO fund.
Not that I can tell, no. I'll double check before Tuesday, but I think it's pretty open.
Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, as long as everything, I'm okay with this.
Okay.
As long as you can.
Yeah, I'll double check the ordinance just to make sure, but
And then will the prosecutor be here on Tuesday? Because I know Charlie's gonna ask.
I will let him know his attendance is requested.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Public defender. I have not seen Mars or spoken to him, but there's a $6,000 transfer.
And I'd like to at least know what they got going on, so let's see when it shows up on TV.
Got it.
I mean, maybe somebody said something to Christine, I don't know.
Yeah, I see you and I are on committee. I didn't hear anything, maybe. Very well. Fairgrounds.
I'm going to, good morning.
Good morning.
Step in on behalf of the fairgrounds for this because this was a transfer request that I put in on behalf of them. This is just to bring a negative account balance back up to dollar at this point.
No, no objection.
Very well. Parks and Rec.
I object.
We have a request to apply for a grant, about 250,000 and change. It's a 40-some thousand will come out of one of our funds. This is for design work for a bridge over Broadway along the future Veterans Memorial Trail, which parallels 231 coming out of Crown Point. Someday get all the way to Hebron, but we have a lot of work and land acquisition to do before we have land up to Iowa, and then we're done for the moment. Pretty straightforward.
Councilman Niemeyer.
Support. You say?
No, you don't need to be there, please.
Thank you, John.
101.
Asking for several transfers here, mostly from protective services and overtime so that we can fill that void through the end of the year. And then office supplies and clothing. We are now very robustly involved in a lot of public education for our fire departments, police departments, our high schools and other schools. So we want to make sure that some people are able to wear apparel like this or something of that nature. So that's ultimately where we're trying to make that change. And then in the maintenance service contracts and the other services and charges, I've spoken to a few of you about some of our ideas. One of the things that we continue to have issues with in 10 years of existence is so when somebody attempts to call our non-emergency number, they either call the number to the police department previously, or they just don't know what our number is. So I'm really looking at trying to create a 311 system. Try to create that avenue and see if we might be able to offload some of those calls that aren't emergent into an AI platform. That's really what we're looking at for some of those funds. And then the other part of the funds is just to cover some of the maintenance that's gone up because everything's gone up 8% this year on all of our contracts.
Question. How, do you have a call breakdown of how many of those calls that come in that your current telecommunicators take that are non-emergency calls?
We, unfortunately, we do not at this moment. I can say that reviewing this material, we had one of the companies with the AI platform, we gave them 1,000 calls in just a random day, and they said that they would have been able to triage about 670 of those themselves, as opposed to having a human.
Almost 3/4 of the calls that come through.
Correct, for the non-emergency side.
For non-emergency side, right?
Because you and I had talked about that AI technology that's out there. And again, I don't like when I call service centers to not get a person, but I understand why, right? And from a cost standpoint, if we can, like you said, do some triage and filter these calls the right way and do it instantaneously to where there's no lag, that would be fantastic.
What we were able to see on at least one of the platforms was we got a demo during Festival of the Lakes in Hammond, and they were able to build out. When somebody said, I needed to know about parking at Festival of the Lakes, they were able to send them a link that they could click on specifically just to see what the parking looked like. Now, will that take some time and some energy and some manpower? It will, but if we can have it, because some of our local communities have online reporting, as opposed to us trying to walk them through what that website is, we could just, it'll automatically send a link to them and provide us the ability to have our people available for the emergency calls. That's our number one focus.
Excellent. Support.
Thank you very much.
Okay, ACAP. Just paying an outstanding invoice from.
$292.
All right, moving right along. Health Department.
Hello. So just here to present some of our fee adjustments. We haven't adjusted our fees at the health department in over 10 years. And while we'll never come close to kind of recouping all of our costs, we do think it's appropriate to come a little bit closer to the cost of doing business for us. We've ensured that we aren't charging more than it costs to provide the service for any of our services. And we've compared to neighboring counties with similar demographics or counties with similar demographics. Do you guys want me to go through like each one of them or break it down, or if you have any questions? Did you guys get the?
But if everybody else has.
They all have
questions.
They all saw it already?
And I have met with Sheila and the team there a couple of times about revenue producing, right, as part of trying to long-term sustain some of what we're doing. And they're doing exactly what we had talked about. It's sensible and it's an update. It's not, like she said, it's not looking to gouge the people that need the service, but it's looking to make sure we cover our cost and we're not subsidizing them. So.
Any other questions? Don't be. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any Gary Courthouse?
Morning again. By the way, that HVAC was mine. I did it up in alcohol. It's just being moved. Good morning. Well, the first one is a big one. We're looking for an appropriation for $1.2 million to cover our utilities through the end of the year. It comes out of the Hammond Gary Courthouse fund. That's what we pay it. I don't know the reason why.
Coming out of the general fund or the?
Yes.
General fund, it's appropriate for Hammond Gary Courthouse.
But it's more, we pay all our utilities out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's, I don't know why, but it's that's all our facilities.
They all come through there.
Right. Yeah. And if you look down below, the appropriation is coming from an appropriation reduction out of the general fund under 26C to cover that. So it's a pretty big nut, but it's going to be big moving forward because of the way the increases are happening.
Yeah. Gotcha. Questions?
Yeah, question. So I noticed in the last commissioners meeting, there was a veto of an ordinance from the council that was attempting to address some of those shortfalls in the budget next year for utilities and their health insurance. And I was wondering if any ideas were discussed by the commissioners on how we might backfill that gaps that we have, that $6 million gap that we currently have. Was anything discussed in that veto of the hiring freeze ordinance to address that $6 million shortfall?
I don't specifically in my role, I don't have any knowledge.
I didn't know if anything was discussed. I wasn't at that meeting and I haven't viewed it, so.
I couldn't let you know what was talked between the commissioners on that.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. Thanks, Ted.
Want to continue on with government center? It's a transfer.
Okay.
Really helped me with this one, but yeah, the whole page is my biggest page so far.
Congratulations.
You win. I win. Yeah, again, this is just transfer to actually to cover part-time salaries for the rest of the year. Same will be true for the government center on number 25. Transferring some funds over to part-time. And that's something that I'm kind of looking at, to see what our part-time situation is. Get a better handle on. I know a lot of part-time fairgrounds work and stuff throughout the year, so working on trying to get a handle on it.
We go to 26.
Yeah, 26 is fine. Interlocal agreement.
With 26A, we have, so you're going to speak on it. My suggestion was to go through, since it's been several years since we've had to do this, I asked Tom for my recollection if he would review the procedure on how we have to present this, go through it, how we're going to be voting on it.
Okay.
So if we could just get a quick overlay on it, so we know the procedure to move forward on, just with that.
It's a contract with the River Forest School Corporation for a payment from the county of $39,048 for athletic equipment. It's motion and approval and signatures. It's already, I believe it's already signed by the commissioners.
Yeah, I believe it's.
Okay. Anybody else?
Why are we paying for athletic equipment?
Well, this is, I think, I need to double check, but this is, going to be paid out of a fund that we have, I think it might be Monsanto fund. So these are monies that are available that we're using.
It's got a weird thing, but it seems to be like opening Pandora's box.
Yeah. There's been a couple of these types of things coming out of that Monsanto. Monsanto settlement from the commissioners.
It's basically the making sure of anything like. These entries are, you'll see what's going on with the township trustees office, we dig them as the commissioners. These.
I'm not opposed to it, I just don't know how you decide where you draw the line.
I think a request
Commissioner in that district is.
Right.
It's a dictator for that area.
The request is made.
He either gets a blessing or an execution, it's his choice.
It's a one-off.
We're doing one in a little bit. Like,
That's what I thought about what's coming up.
no, I hadn't put the rating on it for township, so.
Very good.
No, I'm good, sorry, I was.
All right. Okay, that was
He is again, I had some invoices that I needed to take care of, there were some disputes.
and then here's your, C is your reduction in the 1.2 million from the bird 24. All right.
And then these, another transfer request, this one is to take care of our deficiencies in the unemployment compensation and also my postage account. That's another account that I'm trying to get a handle on because we use that for treasurer's mailings, and elections, and that varies every year. So I'm trying to keep a handle on that as best as we can.
Okay.
No.
Let's go to 27.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, on A, what that is, I got in called by the auditor's office, state board raised an issue about whether or not council was the, purchasing agent for the county. That's from the ordinance that, established it was and all the stuff that happened after that, and it wasn't anymore. It was on our books, it looked like the board, and that's what state board was asking about. So Dan reached out to me and asked if we could clean up that ordinance, so this rescinds that ordinance.
This cleans up all the issues that were going back and forth, lawsuits.
To the Supreme Court, new statute and all that stuff. It's really, the ordinance really, the way we could change the law anyway, but the state board just wanted a paper trail for it. Yeah, it's a regular.
Yeah. Sounds like Councilman Bldg, right? Dean?
Well, let her read if you need me to it, Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe that was your, that's all this offer up.
I can, but that's actually just Councilman Brown's district now, they took New Chicago away from me.
I don't know what it is.
It's an interlocal agreement, $400,000 payment to the town of New Chicago, for design, model, and operation of a new municipal facility.
Is this one of the ARPA dollar?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
But those dollars.
I can agree with these if you want. I can throw it out there.
Okay, the ARPA dollars is.
That's what you
Let's let this be your meeting to go.
It's everybody, usually Brandon here myself.
Really heard Dave, he does such a good job. He's
No.
a great warrior.
Tremendous commitment.
No, that's Pete. Citizens appointments, lay out how it works, and there's a current appointment, let's see, Andrea Cassiano.
You know, if they're both of these, if they're willing to,
letters from anybody on this.
No,
maybe Christine knows if they were.
it's possible. And then.
Yeah, there is a letter for Dan Fagan to be reappointed.
There is,
It's a library board, but I don't know if Andrea is gonna Andrea's gonna get some extra. If she's gonna, I assume she's gonna agree with me. She goes, see forward.
I have no problem. I think that'd be
Can you
pretty
make up, they sent a letter to Andrea? They took over away from me. I'll ask, where it says Carol sends a request letter to Andrea. Call her the office over there.
Yeah. I don't know if we can, also service mail back. Is there anything from the members? Because it looks like, you know.
Well, there is one thing, and I think a couple of the councilmen might be aware of it, Amber and one, and
Yeah.
if you wanted to talk about.
I wanted to get to that, Randy.
Now, I was gonna mention that, Matt and I have been working with Christine to get an agenda item put together for an economic development agreement on a project in my district along the I-65 corridor, so. Giddy up.
There's a representative here from the company, Venture One, but the project is called Project Tempo, and it's been around for about 2 years. Competitive development project that would be a 1 million square foot building that was, Venture One has gone through, worked with the plan commission, got the zoning, plating. The total projected investment is about $125 million. So just some highlights I'm gonna run through here pretty quick. The project would create 150 new jobs with an average wage of 31 per hour. That amounts to 9.58 per year. Annual new revenue to the county. And what I like to do is talk about the existing conditions. So the parcel today generates $5,800. So over a 10-year period, $58,000. The recommendation of the council is to create the economic revitalization area and to consider property tax abatement on personal property. And the council is well aware of changes in the legislation which gave companies an automatic $2 million deduction. The projected investment by this particular company is about $25 million. Given Indiana's ability to depreciate property, this is also part of the changes in the legislation. Companies can now depreciate down to zero. So sooner than later, most companies are gonna figure out, I'm gonna pick life for one, which is 1 to 5 years, and depreciate that. As long as that matches their federal taxes, they'll be down to zero. They will not owe any personal property. So the recommendation is 100% abatement for the term, and 7-year abatement graduated on the real property. And bring that up as a point of consideration. The existing conditions today over a 10-year time frame would be $58,000. You're still going to get to $58,000 in real estate. And this company moves forward on the competitive project and does this, this would equate to $7.2 million in new real estate tax. As part of the recommendation from the economic development department, the company would receive these incentives. They'd have to continue to work with building trades, and I'll let Randy Palmentier address that situation. The company would also pay a one-time fee upon approval of $450,000 to be used for economic development purposes. And that caveat would be included in a statement of benefits that would be considered and approved in a subsequent meeting after the public hearing. And Mr. Galante is here from Venture One. If you want to ask any questions of him, we'd ask that the council consider having the declaratory resolution considered at your meeting on Tuesday, working with Attorney O'Donnell to make sure that information is correct, and here to answer any questions about that.
Mr. Chairman, I just quickly remind the council of how this works. We have a declaratory resolution on Tuesday, then obligated to give notice to the taxing districts that would be impacted by the economic revitalization area. Then we have to have a public hearing with notice, which that takes place obviously on Tuesday. And after public hearing, if the council is in favor of the final resolution, it grants the tax abatement and the economic.
And I'll say this, that Commissioner Tippy has been working with the local taxing units in that area proactively. So they have all the information. There has been good discussions about what the vision is for that corridor. It's a target economic development area. It's in our comp plan right along that 65 for that sort of use, for that sort of development. So we're kind of sticking with a program here. Indiana Cold Storage, you remember, received an abatement as well along that corridor. That building is now built. I don't think they're operating in it yet. But this is just another kind of piece of that puzzle along I-65 and Route 2, South Lake County. So, Randy, want to talk
If I
about?
can interrupt real quick, Mr. Chairman, if you're aware, Council Lady said jump online. I just seen her jump on. I don't know. If the question might be more what's going on as well. All right.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. Do you have anything prior to Mr. Palmentier speaking? You have questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I see this as a financial benefit to the county, and right now I don't have any additional questions.
Thank you.
So I'm clear, is it the sense of the council and Madam President, do you want this on the agenda for Tuesday?
Yes, I'm fine with having it on the agenda for Tuesday.
Council, President's,
Yes.
President said, so I'll give you guys a update where we're at, and overview kind of what transpired and where we're at today. So Clayco and Venture One, let me point out by saying they've been great to work with both companies on Project Tempo. A project labor agreement was negotiated and entered into April 24th of 2024. That agreement covers the footprint of the project and all the construction work, interior and exterior, including machinery and equipment setting. Clayco is the only entity on the project labor agreement that will guarantee the local workforce and work with the local building trades, carpenters included, and operating engineers. That being said, if any portion of what's in that project labor agreement is taken out of scope of work of Clayco, that PLA will not cover that scope of work unless that other entity is on PLA, which means if another besides Clayco comes in and says, we're doing this part of the job, that part of the job, we're taking it out of Clayco scope, then I would have, I would want to go back to the table and get that entity on the PLA. That's kind of where it's at. That's as easy as I can make it. I know I talked to Councilman Niemeyer about it in length to kind of explain. It's my job, it's in my wheelhouse. I get how it sounds. It's kind of, the big picture is they're working with us. Everything's been great. Venture One, Mark Good's been awesome to work with. Clayco's been great to work with. They are one of our contractors. We do work with them. Just on this job, they do other projects around my jurisdiction. So as of right now, there is a signed project labor agreement because of the incentives and stuff that they're getting right now. So I support this project 100%. I support putting on there. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of jobs. Local building trades, but I support going on the agenda. But I'll answer any specific questions anybody has as it pertains to Project Tempo and the PLA. Outside of that, I don't know what negotiations are going on outside of the PLA, and what I cover is the building trades business manager.
I have one question, Mr.
So, okay, so I'll come back up if I need to fill in.
So, question that I have is, when the Indiana Cold Storage facility was built, we had a economic development agreement, tax abatement program on that. One of the things that I've been pretty consistent with in the tax abatement process is if the taxpayers are supporting the development through incentive, it's important that our taxpayers have a chance to work on it. And what happened in cold storage was just what Randy kind of described about it went from a project management team to an owner. And then the scope of work changed and they brought in foreign contractors that were not local labor that while we were in a meeting like this, we had agreed that the local skilled labor contractors would have a chance to bid on work inside the building and outside of the building. And I know in this case, with a 1,000,000 square foot facility, there's going to be a number of installations of machinery and equipment inside the building that may happen once Clayco is done with the project. And we want to make sure that our local skilled tradesmen have a seat at that table to be a part of that process of installing equipment. I understand that some equipment in these sorts of applications can be proprietary as far as warranties. But we believe that if representatives of the company can be present and warranty those sorts of things, they can work with our local skilled trades to make sure that it's installed properly and able to be warranted. So it was kind of one of those situations that came up on the back end of that cold storage project that almost ended up in, well, it did for a short period of time, end up in a project labor action against the project where the wrap was blown up and all that stuff. And it's not something we necessarily want to see. We want to make sure that we're transparent throughout the project, that this tax abatement is for the project and not just for a single project manager or contractor, but the project includes, when it's turned over to the owner, what is installed inside of that building. So that's my thought pattern right now. Can you shed some light on how that process is going to work?
Yeah, I mean, these are looked at multi-stage and shows this part just because the labor is so great. There's going to be, they're fully, full form on a higher local. In terms of building out the interior, I'm not sure we necessarily have a say, but we can talk to their, corporate confirmation of that.
And that's what I'm trying to do here up front, because it is important to us when we're offering incentives supported by the taxpayers that frankly are mostly in that area, blue collar workers, skilled tradesmen, that we want to make sure they have an opportunity to do the work.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we'll have conversations.
Okay. Yeah, and I'd appreciate an open dialogue on that, with myself and with Randy, with Matt, so we can avoid any back end issues. I support the tax abatement on this because it does create permanent jobs, and also during the construction of it, a lot of those folks that are working on it live in my district, and I'm happy to see them at work right in their backyard. So
great, yeah, I'm expecting over 400 construction.
That's great, and appreciate the investment in the area. It's an important investment. We've got a great opportunity to really kind of use this as a anchor point, economic development driver. And that is part of the philosophy we're pursuing. But we want to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, that on the back end of the project, we don't have any issues.
If there's anything to help you get comfortable, that's organizing meetings, we're happy to do that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I add one thing, maybe to make it easier. You guys have a meeting or you draw up the EDA, maybe making contingent that whoever the equipment setting, the interior stuff, whoever scope that's in, they have to sign on to the PLA. That's normal for me. It happens all the time. So if they find out person A or contractor A is doing it or contractor B, then they need to sign on to the same document that Clayco did. That way it starts to cover the whole job. We're not reinventing the wheel. The equipment, machinery setting part, as I shared with you, is in the actual document.
But that's only covered under that first portion of it where it's under control of the person you have the PLA with.
Yeah, with the occupancy permit and that, I could draw up another addendum to it though to cover extended wait, after they get their occupancy. But well, thank you.
Just want clarity of language and all of that to make sure that whole thing is covered.
It's important to know the main thing here is take away whose scope is it in. Once we find that out, the owner's doing it, they're hiring somebody they need
to us as people considering the abatement, the scope is the scope. It doesn't matter whose it is. The fact that the abatement is being applied to the entirety of the scope.
Mr. O'Donnell, I'm sure you can put some language together to say just that.
Mr. Chairman, this is a pretty good thing. I thank you for bringing this up, Brandon. It's talking to Ned. All those contractors that are going to come in and install that equipment need to be licensed through Ned's department. That's, I think, we might have a way of making sure that these folks are there, because they're going to be installing this heavy, pick the industry, I don't care what it is. You're making poop bags.
We do run into.
That bagger machine needs to be installed by local labor, but it also has to be someone that is not just local labor, but licensed and bonded through the county.
And Randy knows, if we do run into a problem, once the structure is complete, with its other contractors coming into the mix that aren't licensed, and then it takes, 2 or 3 months for them to get licensed, and it drags. So knowing that up front, if there are other contractors coming in the mix, they need to come into us and be licensed up front, so that it doesn't drag the project out another 2.
Because otherwise, we just simply create an ordinance that we. Not grant occupancy on that building until.
I would just make sure it's in the development agreement that they got all the terms and conditions of the project labor agreement.
Here's the problem. The applicant is not the end user. So that's what's making me uncomfortable right now.
But we're applying the abatement to the entirety, including when the end user takes occupancy. That end user is getting the benefit of the abatement. And to me, that doesn't absolve them from requirements on the county level and the conditions of that abatement.
Way to take it out of the contractor's scope that's theirs is irrelevant.
So then this begs the question of, we're at a study session today. We want to do the declaratory resolution on Tuesday and get some loose ends to this. I mean, is there, and Matt, I'm going to ask you too, we're moving this too fast. I mean, and it sounds crazy because it's been in process for 2 years, but I think a lot of these guys are hearing this for the first time.
But I'm confident with Venture One and Clayco. I think a gentleman's agreement on it. It's not in the public, talking about it publicly. This is not like it's not documented. So I mean, not want to stall the project by any means.
That's the exact thing that happened with Pumpkin. Yes. I mean, it's the exact thing that happened. We talked about it. They committed to it here. And then you guys were.
I didn't have a PLA on Pumpkin.
Right, but on Pumpkin, they did commit on the record. Here, and I sent them the video clip. And they said, oh, we did commit to that. Then a contractor got to bid on that work. And what I'm trying to get at is, I'm not trying to squash competition, but they're asking for millions of dollars of abatement that not everybody gets. And this is an exchange of value for us. Is we want to make sure that our people have a chance to do the work.
This is not, I'll close with this. Let Matt talk. This is historically building trades work. We're not just coming to these guys saying we're doing the equipment. We do it all the time. We have contractors who do it here locally. They set equipment all the time, whether it's conveyor systems at Albany's, Amazon Prime, we set all those.
It's all crazy when they would say specialized.
Yeah, specialized.
That's what it is.
We do the work. It's historically building trades work. It is covered in my document. We just gotta make sure who gets it after as Randy pointed out, the building's open and ready to go, and then the vendor comes in, that they're assigned to that PLA. That will open to hiring the local contractors. We will work with, due to the warranties, as Randy pointed out, we'll work with whatever vendor they bring in. They usually have a technician out there that works the hands-on, boots on the ground work will be our guys in the building trades, and then they'll have their technicians out there.
Matt, what's the full value if you combine personal property tax and the real property abatement? What's the full value to the end user on this?
4.5.
Right, so I think that these are reasonable things to ask for, is that we don't just do 2/3 of the project, that we do the whole thing.
I think there's a pathway. On the back of the statement of benefits form, it says other conditions. And that's where I recommend you plug in things like, and it's interior work regardless of ownership shall comply with a project labor. It's in there, and it's reported as part of the approval process, the creation of the ERA and the acceptance of the state benefit. Along with that, you add the petitioner shall pay upon approval $450,000 to the county. I think you're covered on both ends. That's document is binding, and if they're in violation of what you approved,
the first year, which would be 2029. You make a claim, it's in there, you're like, wait a minute, you didn't adhere to the rules, suddenly you go from 100% to 0. You can do that. I don't think that's the goal of this body.
Municipalities, Mayor McDermott.
But there's a pathway to do that. And I'll work with Attorney O'Donnell to make sure that language is in there. When the council considers the confirmatory and statement benefits for both the contractor builder and the end tenant. And they'll both be bound by it. And they'll know it's mutually agreed to. You agreed to this. The consequences are losing it. So it's pretty straightforward.
Benefits annual, right?
Yeah, I'd like to just keep it simple. It's a simple document. Literally, it's 2 pages.
One of the things I want to look at here and, because we're going to see more of this along I-65 and in unincorporated areas. And, the data center discussions are all out there all the time. I mean, I think we've got to really start digging into the nuts and bolts of public policy around this. Now, at Ned's leadership, we've adopted a really good data center ordinance. And I like this set of policy objectives. And I'm thinking with things like this, when it comes to economic development agreements, abatements, it would be helpful, I think, for us as a council to have something where maybe the county looks at our own PLA language or projects that are seeking tax abatement, that is all up front, that we're not doing this stuff on the back end, we're doing it on the front end of it. And Ray and Tom, maybe the two of you can work together with Randy, Matt, myself, and try and figure out how we would navigate something like that, because I know it's not simple, but I'd like to come up with a policy objective on the front end where there's an expectation by all parties that this is how it's going to be managed. I think it's more transparent for a developer. It's easier to incorporate certain costs when it comes to financing and other things. So I just think it's good public policy to do this stuff on the front end of it rather than waiting to the back end. So that's just kind of a thing I'm thinking about here that I think from a policy standpoint, we can develop that.
You have a project labor agreement ordinance in place here. All we gotta do is add the incentives that I just did in Munster, the fire share. All of this 19 municipalities have this. All I gotta do is you can tweak the ordinance. I can get it over to both. It's like a page and a half.
I like the idea of statement benefits on the back of it, on the second page.
I like the ordinance.
Ordinance is a good idea too.
Yeah, and
We have an ordinance in place.
and just beefing
And
up,
the incentives, you can reference that PLA ordinance that's already.
beefing up the RVO, beefing up the PLA, making sure we're a little more specific with things, I think is going to be helpful for all of us making decisions. My goal is to not, again, discourage competition, right? But we want to have the playing field will be transparent when people have an opportunity within that to do the work.
And there is a responsible bidding ordinance for incentives. It's passed just a year ago. But for incentives, what you just said.
Yeah.
We still have the PLA attached to each piece.
Yeah, we just need to
Buffer.
clean some of that up.
Thank you.
Is there any more from Andrew?
All set. I'll work with Attorney O'Donnell.
And Mr. Galante, and again, we want this to be kind of a true open dialogue partnership approach to this. I love this sort of stuff. This is the nuts and bolts, right? And great opportunities to develop an area that, I mean, I know when that area was a truck stop. I've lived in South Lake County my whole life. So to see what you guys are doing there right now is awesome. I drive by there and see the dirt moving and it's just fantastic. So we just want to make sure that the process from start to finish, it goes as planned.
Mr. Gladden, what's your title and who you work for? I work for Venture One Real Estate. Work with Mark.
Yeah, they've been terrific to work with, as everybody said. They've done a great job in the plan commission, been very transparent. They've worked with Ned and his team very well, so I don't suspect this to be any issue.
So I don't have to look like the bad guy. Please tell Mark, and I've been on 30 weeks here about this, that you guys still, even though you started the earthwork and received permission from the plan commission to start the earthwork, we still need to go for a site development plan before a public meeting at the plan commission, before we can issue a building permit. So please get on your company to get that done, so that I don't look like the bad guy and it doesn't drag us out 2 or 3 months from when we want to start. Because we advertise the public meeting, it comes up at a plan commission, and then we move to the building. So that's another thing that always confronts us when we're trying to issue a building. I think it's.
I do enjoy making Ned the bad guy.
Everybody does.
Me too.
He is correct. Partial site plan approval, so you can do that everywhere. So the sooner that application's in front of us, site development, that'd be awesome. But then it all just coincides with what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. That user wants to be in as soon as possible,
Good.
so we'll make sure.
We want to.
Sounds like nobody's adamantly opposed to the project, so let's get the return, you know.
Yep, no, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Council Lady Sid, you have anything?
No, from what I heard, there's going to be in that contract under other conditions, adding that if there's a new owner, they have to abide by the labor contract. And that, will it also state that if they don't, then they will lose the abatement?
We would just have to take action on it. Yes, that would be fully abatement.
Okay, all right. Very good, thank you.
Anything else from anybody? No, adjournment.